Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Gone Rogue. And in this episode of Gone Rogue, we are going to talk about how failure is just steps to success. That is right. In this episode of Gone Rogue, I am going to talk about how failure is just steps to success. So, what the origin that is making me talk about how failure is just steps to success is that the NBA, since the NBA playoffs are currently going on right now, there are several teams that are the top seed getting knocked out by the underdogs, and one of NBA's superstar just happens to be knocked out of the playoffs. Had some exchanges, let's just say, with the media about whether being the top seed being knocked out in the first round by an 8th seed is a failure. And his response, Giannis Antetokounmpo response is, it's really not a failure. But his response to the media was like, let me try to simplify this. His response to the media was like using a real life example to his profession in sports. His response, as I paraphrase this, if you don't get a raise every year at your job, is it a failure? No. That's what he basically said. There are steps to this process, and there are steps to whatever the end goal is. So his response to that media of whether being the top seed and missing out of the playoffs, is it a failure? He said no. And is he right? Is he wrong? There are two answers. You can be right and wrong at the same time. And there are people that have several takes on TNT, such as Shaq on television on TNT after the game, after the series. Before I talk about Shaq, let's talk about Michael Jordan, which Giannis Antetokounmpo used as an example. Michael Jordan, first 9 years missed the playoffs. Is that a failure? He put it that way, and it brought a different perspective on how we look at failure. And Shaq on TNT said he was able to win 4 rings, and he's been in the NBA for many years, and those many years that he didn't win a ring, is his career a failure? And that puts more thought into that perspective, is that failure is just temporary in my own view. But I think that we need to look at failure is how we look at the big picture, how we really look at the big picture here. And how do we look at the big picture is that how we go from how we look at failures, that failure is just an imaginary thing. Kobe Bryant, in his later years, in his post-career, post-basketball career says that failure is just an imagination in your head. That is right. And he goes on to say that if you really don't learn how you failed, then it is a failure. And wow, is it really a failure if you don't learn from the things that made you fail? And what is it trying to say is that if you don't learn from failure, then you actually failed. So it's all about trying to learn. Failure is just an imaginary thing in your head. It's just an imagination. It's just that perspective in your head. Something that we don't look at the big picture. We look at the small picture, a small pixelated picture on how we perceive failure. Failure is just a step into something that we want to achieve. And according to Kobe, we need to look at how we learn from failure. So you failed on Monday. You have to do it again on Tuesday. But what have you learned from yesterday in order to not do that things that made you fail? And I think that's how we need to approach failure, since failure is not being... If you don't learn from failure, then you actually do fail. I think we need to change how we look at that picture and do things more, and how we look at things more differently. So that's how we need to look at things in a different way. And the greatest fear is yourself. And sometimes it can be scary to accept the fate that you have, and it's scarier still to chase what you want. But if you have to be fearless in putting yourself out there. You can't let failure, the fear of failure, hold you back. You can't let the fear of failure hold you back. And you have to go along with being able to look at the big picture here. You really can't let failure hold you back, as Kobe Bryant would say. So I think that's how I'm going to end it here. Failure is just a step in the process of trying to achieve what you want to achieve. You have to learn from failure, and it's just a step in life. And hopefully we look at that picture, a bigger picture of how failure is just a small step in life on how we want to do things. And we all face it sometimes. We all face it in life. And so that's how I'm going to end it for this episode of Gone Rogue. If you like this video, please give this video a huge thumbs up. Comment in the comments section below on what you think about what I said. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be sure to check out my other YouTube content that is on this channel. And thank you for watching Gone Rogue. And I'll definitely see you on the next one.